I want to talk a little about taxes, which I know is pointless. It's really the ultimate when it comes to tilting at windmills. It amazes me and depresses me too how often I find myself thinking about things over which I have no control, like disease and war and pollution and global warming and movie popcorn and the price of a ticket to see a movie and the quality of most movies and taxes. Taxes are horrible and inevitable, which is why they were linked in the famous saying with death. Taxes really are terrible. You work hard to earn money and somebody else gets a cut of it just because they do, and not just one somebody else. I pay taxes to the city, I pay taxes to the county, I pay taxes to the state, I pay taxes to the federal government. They're all leeches on my salary. And there are other taxes, taxes on gasoline, taxes on cigarette, the so-called sin taxes on liquor, sales taxes on everything else, estate taxes on everything you own after you die. Taxes everywhere. It's a sick joke. One of the finest, funniest lines written by a Beatle is not by Lennon or McCartney, it's George Harrison's "Declare the pennies on your eyes." Some say that taxes are a small price to pay for our freedom. I understand the argument, but I'm not sure I agree. This country was founded as an independent nation because the British, contributing nothing to the welfare of the people, taxed the colonists because they could. They wanted a cut of that nice colonial action. A stamp tax, a tea tax, nibble, nibble, nibble. Finally the colonists said enough. They said taxation without representation is tyranny. If I were there, I would have stood up and said, "Isn't it theft? Isn't it stealing? Isn't it a criminal, unjustified acquisition and unlawful seizure of my personal property?" They fought a war over those taxes, those bloody taxes. I wonder, boy do I wonder, another of those pointless diversions, what they would think if they could see us now. We have improved the situation. Now we have taxation with representation. So it's not tyranny. We call it democracy. But what exactly does that mean? What do we get? We get robbed. I don't think those colonists would be angry. I think they'd look at us and laugh, scornfully. They'd say, "You stupid cobs. Everything we gave you, on a silver platter too, and you gave it all away, including the platter. Do you really think you can pay all of those taxes and call yourselves free? Then cows and chickens and goats are free. You are nothing but voluntary slaves who think they're free. That's your democracy." Even with all of this, taxes might be bearable if they were put to good use. Instead, they go to governments. A drunk is a better financial agent than a government. And the larger the government, the worse it is with money. At least by an exponential factor. I'd rather give my money to a junkie than see it go to a federal government. Although, having said that, from what I understand, my tax money does go to junkies who are enrolled in federal recovery programs. The federal government is a mushroom cloud of corruption, gigantic, obscure, overwhelming. And the latest governmental buzzword is transparency. What a laugh that is, transparency. Now you see it, now you don't. That's transparency. We have no say in the matter. We are forced to pay taxes, we are doomed to die. Taxes are what we call our patriotic duty. When I was young, we used to drive occasionally on a toll road. My father had to explain that he paid to drive on the road and the money they collected went to build and maintain that road. That seemed right and reasonable to me. Later I would understand that only a meager fraction of all that cash money collected went to take care of the road. The rest of that constant gusher filtered out into parts and parties unknown, a classic update to the phrase highway robbery. The government, ever hungry for new revenue streams, improved on the toll road scam when they came up with the lottery. You don't have to build anything to bilk the people out of their money. They will gladly give it up for a shot at a jackpot. Again, cash money is collected and it goes where it goes, as a septic tank feeds a leach field. But for an old school blueprint, study Robert Moses, who built the thoroughfares and bridges of New York City and controlled all the tolls they collected for years. From a structural and developmental point of view, bricks and mortar and cement, Moses was the most important and powerful man in New York, so long as he controlled that money. Whatever he wanted to build, he built. If you were in his way, too bad. Taxes are cruel and nefarious, brilliant in a way, if you were on the collecting end. I am amazed that we put up with them, seeing what we get from them, for them. The rich get richer, the poor get a trickle of welfare, and everyone else with 2 cents, one for each eye at death, gets taxed.